just bought a brand new visual novel and you've started reading it. However, if you're relatively new to the visual novel medium, you might not be aware that the visual novel you are playing right now might not actually be the complete version of the game, or even the best possible way to play the game. Hi, my name is August, and in this video, I'm going to show off some various visual novel mods / patches for popular titles that you should absolutely check out to improve your reading experience. Some of these put back in missing content that was taken out because of certain restrictions, others are visual graphical improvements, and one title I'll talk about at the very end, while not being a direct mod, is a complete upgrade in every way possible. To first start off, let's talk about the most important thing for PC visual novels, 18+ patches. For any new beginner readers out there, if you're reading a Japanese visual novel, more specifically an eroge, there's a very high chance that an 18+ patch for the game exists. Due to publishers having to cut content for a game to be approved on Steam for certain reasons, 18+ patches are made available on external sites. These patches not only adds back in uncensored content, but also adds back in the more mature elements that could have potentially triggered Steam's sensitive content filter. This goes beyond just R18 scenes too, as there are cases where you are missing out on character routes or even a big portion of the story if you don't have the patch. The biggest example I can point out is the widely popular Wonderful Everyday Down the Rabbit Hole, or Subarashiki Hibi. Downloading the Steam version only gives you the first 2 hours of the game. Installing the patch will give you the rest of the game, in which the content will be drastically different after finishing the prologue. You can find these patches on visual novel publisher websites like Jast, Denpasoft, Kagura Games, Nekonyan's external patch site, and Shiravune's patch.moe website. Alternatively, you can directly buy from those publisher websites to avoid this process of checking for and installing the patch. Now, for all the visual novels I'll talk about in this video, I'll include links to all of these in the description / comments below. But if you're ever wondering if your visual novel needs a patch, I would recommend checking for it on VNDB or the Visual Novel Database. First off, if you wanted to get into Higurashi and Umineko, two of the most popular visual novels out there, I would highly recommend checking out the 07th mod. This mod works for the PC release of Higurashi and Umineko by Manga Gamer, being compatible with both the Steam version and any DRM-free versions of the games. For Higurashi, the 07th mod modifies the PC version to reflect the console version of the game, porting the console sprites, backgrounds, video openings, and even including voice acting, creating the definitive experience for Higurashi. Other features include limb sync support when using the PS3 sprites, exclusive console content such as bad endings, various third-party language patches, and the ability to change between ADV and NVL text formats. What's also really nice is that you have the ability to switch between the console, Manga Gamer, or original Japanese sprites at any time during the game. As for Umineko, the mod has fewer features, but is still worth downloading, being able to use the console sprites, backgrounds, and CGs, while also having voice acting and having the ability to use both ADV and NVL formats. Instead, what I would recommend as an alternative is the Umineko project. This mod is a port of the Alchemist's PS3 version of Umineko. Features include full 1080 HD at 60 frames per second, support for Windows, macOS, and Linux, full CG, sprite, and effects supports, along with voice sync, and improvements to both visual text and UI. That said, in order to use this mod, the Umineko project developers encourage its users to purchase both the PC version and PS3 version of Umineko. Regardless of which patch you use, the 07th mod or the Umineko project, I would highly recommend downloading these mods to play the most beloved visual novel murder mysteries of all time. Next up is a patch for one of the most critically acclaimed visual novels of all time, The House in Fata Morgana. For The House in Fata Morgana, there is a PC mod called the Remade of Dreams patch that transforms the Steam version of The House in Fata Morgana on PC into the Dreams of Revenant edition of the game for the PS4 and Switch. Here, the CGs and background art have been updated for higher quality resolution and fitted for widescreen. Quality of life changes have also been added for a more easier reading experience. The Remade of Dreams PC patch not only works for the base game, but also includes patches for the side games, Requiem for Innocence and Seventh Layer. I would highly recommend it because the visuals are absolutely beautiful for this game. For those of you that are into science adventure titles like Steins Gate, I would highly recommend checking out the Committee of Zero. Their patches are intended to add tons of various improvements to all of the science adventure games, like Chaos Head, Steins Gate, and Robotics Notes. Features include higher quality CGs and audio, translated graphics and background, typography and UI improvements, subtitle videos, decensored content, and important bug fixes. What's also very notable is that the patches also address consistency issues. The science adventure series has a very deeply interconnected setting with many diverse sci-fi ideas. Most concepts have the same name throughout the games, establishing their connections. However, the official English translations often fail to reflect this. Terminology is translated inconsistently and references are sometimes missed. As a result, the grander context can be lost. The Committee of Zero patch fixes these issues to help maintain that cohesive experience. Lastly, while this isn't a mod, the Committee of Zero website also has spoiler-free guides for the games. Guides that I personally found very helpful to quickly navigate through all the routes in order to reach the true endings. For all of the Rants players out there, if you are a big fan of Sengoku Rants, you might want to check out the Daisengoku Rants and the Rudra Sam Continent mods. These are large-scale expansions of the main Sengoku Rants story. That said, if you are interested in these mods, please take a look for yourself and read more into it. At the time of this video, I haven't read any of the Rants titles, but I thought this mod would pique your interest as these are officially approved by Alisoft and add tons more value to an already beloved game. Now, those are some of the bigger patches, but I would like to shout out some other smaller titles. Next is the Utawareru Mono 3D Resolution mod. This mod removes the limit that locks the game's resolution to be 1080p, downscaled to 720p. Instead, it adjusts the graphics to the resolution you pick in the settings. It also doubles the 3D resolution to give a smoother, better looking image with a super sampling effect. This mod works for all three of the Utawareru Mono games on Steam, but only affects the 3D parts of the game. A nice visual improvement for such a grand, epic, heartfelt JRPG. For Majikoi Love Me Seriously, a goofy yet heartwarming slice-of-life action comedy title, there is a voice restoration patch. In the base game, only the main cast of characters are voiced. Adding this patch restores all of the missing voices from the side characters. This works for both the JAS and Steam versions of the game. Next up is a famous classic eroge, at least among a certain group of fans, for this title stands apart as one of the most popular Nukige out there, Monster Girl Quest, aka the game that helped popularize Monster Girls. Now, the original version of Monster Girl Quest is actually a collection of 3 separate parts, with an unofficial fan translation. However, there is a fan-made remastered version of Monster Girl Quest. Features include upscaled resolution to 720p and 1080p graphics, overall performance optimization, bug, typo, and grammar fixes, and even the ability to save at any point in the game. The reason why that last point is so important is because in the original fan translation, you were only able to save at certain locations due to technical reasons. However, thanks to this new remastered version, this restriction is now gone. And finally, the title I teased at the very beginning of this video. While this isn't directly a mod, it is, however, the best way you can play this visual novel. That is, the original Tsukihime on a modern browser. It's got everything you can expect from modern visual novel releases: 16:9 aspect ratio, customizable game and audio settings, and language options. The web port even throws in options for soundtrack selection, H-scene filters, and a save game export. You can even play it on your phone through the browser. It is the ideal modernized experience for this classic legendary visual novel, especially since the original game files are hard to find nowadays. Now, like I said before, links to everything I said prior will be in the description/comments down below. I would like to thank everyone on Patreon for supporting me in covering visual novels. You all are fantastic. And if you'd like to be a part of that effort, please consider subscribing. I make a lot of visual novel content both in reviews and helpful guides, and to most newcomer readers, the latter will be definitely useful to you, which is why I would check out this next video over here.